yesterday, and today we have more tea. Breaking news: Lindsey Graham, South Carolina senator, this morning is dead. Brooke Hanlon's husband got a new attorney, and of course the story in the House of Horrors has not changed. More information is becoming available, and we're still on the discussions of Charlie Kirk. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
So grab your beverage, come on in, and I'm going to have to go get my coffee. My coffee's still in the kitchen. Enjoy.
Coffee steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. White boy wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turmo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take credit.
Da da da. Da 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 da. Good morning. Well, hello, my beauties. Hello, my beauties. We've got gunk. We've got a lot of gunk to talk about this morning. We got a lot of gunk. It is nice to see everybody. If this is the first time you have been here or you have seen this face, I am officially Bullhorn Betty. You probably heard about me. Probably, they put me next to the creep or the monster under the bed, but I'm not. I scare that person away or those things away. Anyways, good morning, guys. It's Happy Sunday. All right, I'm getting my coffee, first cup of coffee down the hatch as we speak. It has been already a crazy morning for me. Delilah did not want to use the bathroom. She wanted to play with the cats. So that's been my morning, and we know that this is going to be at least a 2-hour show. How is that going to work with my dog? I do not know. I can only take her outside. I can lead her to the water, but I can't make her drink or pee or poop, apparently. So it's been one of those mornings. That's okay. Happy Sunday, folks. It gets better. It gets better. It's nice to see everybody up in the chat. Listen, guys, the first story you guys know is going to be Lindsey Graham. And I know that there are people here that don't really care for Lindsey Graham. I'm not a Lindsey Graham fan, okay? I'm not going to lie. I'm not a Lindsey Graham fan. But at the end of the day, the man has served our country honorably. Whether we agree with his leadership or not, it's not for us to agree. He was a senator from South Carolina. That means he was the representative of people in South Carolina, not you, unless you are in South Carolina. Maybe you don't like him. Maybe you didn't vote for him. But at the end of the day, he has been able to carry the majority of the votes in his district in South Carolina for almost 30 years or over 30 years. He spent a lot of time in our military. He's military. He's a colonel. No matter how you look at this, you don't have to agree with his voting. You don't have to agree with his ideology. You don't have to agree with anything when it comes to Lindsey Graham, but still, be saddened that I have a lot of people in my chat that are older than 71 years old. So be careful what you say. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying that's pretty freaking young for me. At the end of the day, he served our country honorably. There were a lot of disagreements, even in the Republican Party, about some of the leadership or some of the votes that Lindsey Graham had made. But at the end of the day, he was a good guy, personally, a good guy. He had a tough job. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, but one of the biggest problems here in this country is the people don't represent the people. They represent the special interest, right? The people that fund their ability to maintain these seats. And that was where a lot of me and a few other people kind of butted heads with Lindsey Graham. But at the end of the day, he was a good man. He served this country honorably, and he lost his life. And at the end of the day, there are families, children, grandchildren that are in a great amount of pain and agony right now, losing their loved one. So just in the spirit of humanity, please don't forget to send your condolences to the family if you guys can. I know I've made a post and there was a lot of horrible people commenting. And again, I'm not a Lindsey Graham fan, okay? I wanted the man removed from the senator's race, okay? I did not want him being Trump-endorsed senator. He ended up being a Trump-endorsed senator, okay? I didn't agree with that. It doesn't matter what Bullhorn Betty agrees with. The one thing we don't do is we don't celebrate death in this country. We celebrate life. And I think it's time for us to get back to a moral high ground in this country when it comes to people. I don't celebrate if it's on the other side of the party. I don't celebrate if it's on this side of the party. I don't celebrate death because it's painful. It's very painful. And it's painful. We don't feel the pain. But I bet you when somebody dies in our family, we do. So at the end of the day, we have to remember that whether we agree with people or not, this is not the outcome we want. So please find a core of humanity today and maybe say a prayer for, if you can't even say a prayer for Mr. Lindsey Graham, say a prayer for the world, Maybe that would be the silver lining. A bunch of prayers. You guys know me. If anything happens, pray, 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 right? All right, guys, I'll give you guys a little slice here. Let's just go over some of the Lindsey Graham stuff before I move on. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. He was 71 years old. He died yet last night on July 11th. A brief and sudden illness. We don't know what that brief and sudden illness was. I will tell you guys, there's a lot of people that took and I'm not trying to scare my audience because I know there was a lot of people in my audience that also took the vax. But there's a lot of side effects of that COVID vaccine. And a lot of people are having respiratory issues and just dropping like flies. And it didn't happen right away. It happens over time. And there's also aneurysms and blood vessels just in your lungs and other places that are just exploding. It's, again, not wanting to scare anybody, but if you guys did take, maybe you need to call your doctor and go talk to your doctor and see if there's anything that you can be doing to help, protect yourself, right? Because, at the end of the day, the reason why you took the vax was to protect yourself, right? So I don't want you, I don't want you scared. I want you talking to your doctor about your concerns and addressing those concerns with your doctor, right? I don't want you going online and doing your own. I don't want you becoming your own doctor when it comes to this. But I have noticed that there's been several people that I know for a fact took this injection and, within a few years of that injection are dead. So, I'm angry about it, but I don't know if this had anything, because I don't know if he was one of those people. I have to assume he was. There was a lot of people in our government that decided to do this because they couldn't get on planes, they couldn't travel. I chose to drive, right? I chose to take my power back and not allow my government or any company telling me how to handle my health. Was it inconvenient? Of course it was, but I felt it was the right path forward. Now, the U.S. Senate, he's been in the U.S., but prior to him being in the U.S. Senate, he was in the U.S. House. He was a House member, 3rd Congressional District from 1990. If you want to talk about a career politician, Lindsey Graham is without a doubt a career politician. He spent from 1995 in the House to 2003, and then from 2003 to today, he has been in the U.S. Senate, in the senator position over 23 years, just in the U.S. senator position. That, to me, is a career politician. That is exactly what we do not want in our country anymore. And again, like I said, I didn't agree with Lindsey Graham's necessarily all of his votes or how he handled his business, but he wasn't my representative or my leader. And he served this country. Listen, he was in our government for over 30 years, and he spent over 20 years in the Air Force and the Air Force Reserves, and retired as rank of colonel. So again, we can have our disagreements about Lindsey Graham all day long, but whether he served this country honorably, that's undisputed. In my opinion, I believe he did serve this country honorably, whether we agreed with his service or not, or appreciated his service or not. I will always appreciate anybody that serves in our armed forces, except people like Chris and Katie Proudfoot, and of course Brian Hooker. I think they give our U.S. military stinky names.
Of South Carolina has died. His office released a statement just now that reads, on the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. The office did not provide any additional details about the...
Now, if we can just get Mitch McConnell, the Chinese Communist Party, to finally acknowledge that Mitch McConnell's being kept alive by life support just so they can maintain power and control with his spy of a wife. Maybe we can get them to come forward to tell us the truth about Mitch McConnell. But at the end of the day, he was a vegetable before he had this collapse. He was not, I think his wife was voting for him, and the Chinese Communist Party was voting for him, but Mitch McConnell has been checked out for a very, very long time. He can't even barely hold a conversation or even look like he is even lucid enough to even know where he's at. And he's been in a hospital being, from my understanding, being kept alive on life support. And we got people out the gate saying, oh my gosh, he just spoke to me this morning. Listen, if he can speak, then he can make a video. Can he not? Right? If he's up having a 20-minute conversation about world issues, then we should have a video of him talking and telling the American people, please don't worry, I'll be back to work soon. I need to recover, right? Give the world, give America that little soundbite of Mitch McConnell sitting up in bed, eating, and saying, America, don't worry, I'll be back to work soon. And we'll be done with the conversation. But the Communist Chinese Party is too busy trying to cover up and maintain control through Mitch McConnell's spy of a wife. I'm not going to say anything different than that. I can't stand his wife. Now, we covered a case of a man here in Florida that was in a shallow grave yesterday. Now, while he was not on my thumbnail this morning for a follow-up, we are going to follow up on that case because there is a lot of information coming out about that case, and I know that there were a few people in the audience that were at least concerned about the case. So before we get started, hey, Strawberry Nani, everybody that's in the chat right now, 8 years ago, I remember people shouting out term limits all the time. We need term limits. I'm sorry. We need term limits, and we cannot have foreign nationals, foreign anybody in our any elections, not local elections, not anything. If you're not born here in the United States of America, I'm sorry, you don't get to hold an office here in our country. And if you are going to be from another country, you have to stop you can't have dual citizenship. There is no dual. I think that we are foolish for having people that do not belong in this country or hold dual citizenship, because those people, they are working for the country that they were born in, not the one that they are representing. They're coming over here to represent interest of another country, and that is anti-American. You cannot be in our government and be cheering on initiatives for other countries unless we are a sole beneficiary of it. You know, a beneficiary, a good beneficiary, not a sole beneficiary, but a good beneficiary of it. So at the end of the day, we're going to get off that soapbox. We have human remains that were found buried on a Freeport property, and there were several people that have been arrested. We were covering this yesterday. It was quite shocking. There's a lady on the run, so we're going to start picking up this case over the next few days to cover the manhunt. We have a manhunt right now related to a little girl, a lady that's 5'3" and 120 pounds. There have been multiple people. Here's the man that she killed. This is related to substance abuse. There is substance abuse involved in this story, so I'm confident that he either had money and was meeting her for a good time, and they decided to rob him, and they ended up killing him instead. There's something going on here, or they were in a relationship. She said that, I don't know. I think it was more of a burglary gone wrong. We don't have those finite details in this case, just the people that are involved. 5 people, I believe 4 or 5 people have already been arrested, and the main gal that is on the run, that did this, is on the run. So this is related to Jason Christopher Coulthart, 43. That was the man you just saw. He was reported missing earlier this year, May 24th, from Niceville Police Department here in the state of Florida. He was leaving college condominiums at East College Boulevard, and he was found, his body was, buried in a shallow grave some 33 minutes away from the condominiums. On June 25th, a direct result of Niceville Police Department's ongoing missing person investigation, detectives discovered information identifying the location where Coulthart's body has been buried on a property off of Sunset Lane in Freeport, like I said, 33 minutes away. The search warrant was submitted and approved, and Criminal Investigation Bureau went out there that same day. Thursday evening, investigators found Coulter's body buried in a shallow grave. This morning, both agencies received confirmation that the DNA was his, and that was from yesterday. We talked about that one yesterday. Here is the lady right now that is fleeing, that we have a manhunt for. She is, her name is Isabel Johnson. Now, as you guys see, she's got her hair pulled back. I anticipate her changing her appearance. She might shave her head completely. She might pull her hair down and take the shaved part away so people don't see that, and change her hair color to red, blonde, black, or something like that. So please pay attention to her nose, how she talks. You can tell she's a drug addict just by the way she talks and her jaw moves, because when your jaw kind of moves like this as you're talking, it's a good indicator that you're probably a drug addict. And so I got to see her movements here at this hotel, and those movements were very good for me, because I can tell you all that when you talk to her, she seems like she's got a drug problem. So that's going to be a telltale sign. Now, she's not going to be able to change that. And no matter how much she's on the run, her obsession and her need for substance will not change. So she's going to be in areas that she can find drugs. She's going to be at the bars that she can find drugs. So if you guys know of anything around here, the little watering holes all throughout the state of Florida, if you are a drinker and you're in the state of Florida or in Georgia and you're at the watering hole, please take a good look at this lady. She may wind up there because she's going to need something, and the best place to find the things that you need is going to the places you can get them, okay? And hole-in-the-wall bars always has a dealer on a stool somewhere, okay? If you don't believe me, you don't have to believe me, but I've been in my 20s, I didn't need to know anybody, okay? In my 20s, you people can just tell, okay? They can look at you and tell whether you wanted them or not, okay? And people know when you look around and you see the one lone guy just kind of scoping out and just kind of chill, just over there alone, most likely he's the guy. He's the man, right? And if he's not the man, he knows the man. So, this is not hard. So the reason why I'm giving you all of this information is not because I want you guys going out and drinking. I don't believe, I don't drink anymore. Sorry, my phone is, I need to turn the thing off. It's hooked up. But I don't drink it. I don't do anything anymore. But these are things that I used to do. I had a walk, and my walk was very scary at times, but I got through it. But This is a 5'3" lady. Okay, she weighs 120 pounds soaking wet, and she is a lethal lady. So I just want to make sure you guys know. I don't know if she's armed and dangerous. I would presume she's armed and dangerous. So me telling you that, I just want to let you know, do not approach this lady. Do not approach this lady at all. Do not get in within arm's reach of her. And whatever you do, don't let her know you're taking pictures of her or something like that. But get in a safe location and call law enforcement. 911 is the easiest number to remember. So please don't get yourself in trouble. Please don't get yourself hurt. And if you see this lady, immediately call law enforcement. There is a manhunt underway right now. 2 additional have been arrested in the Jason Coulthart. There it is, right there. All these people involved in this. This person here knows better. This person here knows better. These people here know better. This is a punk, and this is a punk. Why would these people get themselves involved in... Look at this lady. She looks like she should be a realtor. Far from being arrested for accessory after the fact. Okay? Like, this is getting ridiculous. And this is what we have to deal with these cases. So I just thought I'd let you know this is not just a lady. She dragged all these people in to help her. All of these people in to help her. Everybody else is arrested, and she's still wanted on the run with an open murder charge. So if you guys see her, please reach out to 911 immediately. She needs to be apprehended. It's time for this family to get some closure. Okay, guys, we have an update on a little boy. Now, we may have covered this little boy in our 5-minute little sound bites back a couple years ago, back in 2024. I remember seeing his face, and I'm almost certain that we did cover something, but I don't think he was reported. I think it was like in 2025 that we covered. I recognize his face, but I don't know how I recognize this little boy's face. But he's been brought up previously. And he's an autistic little young man. And his name is Ronell Prince Jones Jr. And he was 2 years old from St. Louis. The reason why this story is on my desk is because I just got reports that his little remains were found. His remains were found. So it appears that the last time he was observed with his father was in April of 2024. The mother has been begging them to please take her child seriously. However, the father got this child, I don't know. I didn't go deep into the case because I just didn't have time to dive deep into this case. But we are going to be monitoring this case right now because there was a tip that was provided and it belonged to this little boy. But it just happened on the 8th. So 4 days ago in Stuckey Township, Illinois, there was a tip. They went out, they searched that tip, and they uncovered a little boy's body. Remains, not a body, remains. He's been gone for a really long time. So his father, 32-year-old Ronell Jones Sr., and his 35-year-old girlfriend, Christy Dora, have now been arrested for parental kidnapping and first-degree harassment. First-degree harassment. I am confident that those charges are going to be upgraded to homicide, and I'm pretty confident that this autistic child was abused heavily by his father. And I still don't understand why in this country we can't do better for little kids, especially disabled kids. If kids that have disabilities ever get into the system, they should never be allowed out of the system. Now, other families may be, but when you have a disabled child and they get into the system, if it's not something like an accident, a child falling in the pool and a required report or call type of thing, you know, and those things get cleared, I understand those types of things being cleared and not having a heavy presence of the Department of Children and Family Services. But if there's ever any type of remote possibility of abuse being there, they should never, ever, ever allow that child to go without some type of contact from that point forward. Because if there's abuse early on, that abuse is only going to compound as time goes on, and as these children develop and they don't understand how they're developing, and they start getting, even more uncomfortable with the changes in their bodies that they don't understand, and it's hard to make them understand because, they're autistic or on the spectrum. And again, some children don't have problems with understanding, reasoning, and other things, and other children are severely impacted by the autism and by the ADHD and other known factors that come with an autistic child or a child on the spectrum. So, and never mind that it takes a certain type of mindset in parenting that's required for a child like that many people, especially if they're on substances or in many cases, drug addicts or alcoholics or people that have mental problems and short tempers, they're not good candidates for an autistic child. They're just not. They're too abusive. They can't handle it. And I'm pretty sure that was what happened. But it comes down to the fact of why in the world do these parents take these children? Like, this father knew he couldn't control, and he was getting angry with his child and hitting his child. Like, why did he want? And this is where it comes in. It comes down to the money. I guarantee they were getting money for this child from the state, and that's the only reason why they wanted this child. That's not a reason to have a child in that house. It's for financial gain. If these people are abusive or have been known to be abusive, why is our Department of Children? This is what's pissing me off around this country. And we just had another case just recently about a child, and it was Javea Harris, and she's dead. Okay, we just found out her parents killed her. And every time we go to look into hold the Department of Children and Families accountable, they have this long-standing, we don't have to talk about it because of confidentiality. These are children, confidentiality. There is nobody holding the family courts or the Department of Children, and it's a racket. It's a flippin' racket in this country. The Florida courts, or not the Florida courts, the family courts are a joke. They're a kangaroo court. They're a frickin' joke in this country. We've got the Department of Children and Family Services, again, a fucking joke in this country that we spend millions and billions of dollars on annually and every decade. And they do absolutely squat to move the needle. It's just a waste. It's just pissing money away. And we're told that, this is the best. This is not the best they can do. This is just garbage. This is garbage. These children deserve a frickin' Department of Children and Family Services that knows how to go into homes, evaluate cases, and realize a child's in danger, and take them out of the flippin' home. I'm so sick and tired of this shit. Every single one of our cases of child homicide had the Department of Children and Family Services involved before they were murdered by their parents. Every last one of them. Every one of them. Every one of them have had the Department of Children and Family Services involved before the frickin' parents murdered them. Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, Jaden Spicer, this boy here, the Wests. I mean, I could literally name just about every freaking child. Melody Buzzard. Literally every child that is murdered by their parents has had the Department of Children and Family Services involved in their family literally recently. I mean, how do you get any more angry than the Summer Wells case when the Department of Children and Family Services were at their house the day before she disappeared and looked at all that shit around their house, looked at all those environmental hazards, knew that house was unfit for all of those damn children, and they left them there, and the next day a girl was missing. This is happening all over the country. Fire the Department of Children and Family Services. They're not doing their job, folks. Why are we... Emmanuel Haro, amen. Quentin Simon. I mean, we could literally name the cases over and over and over again. This child here is just another face to the failures of our family courts, to the failures of our Department of Children and Family Services. They keep stealing our money. They keep telling us it's for the kids, and they keep taking our money and failing our kids. They keep stealing our money. They launder our money. And then they launder our children. And then they hide the ones that die until they can't hide them no more. I'm sick of the Department of Children and Family Services. I'm sick of it. They're a freaking joke at this point. They're a freaking joke. And so is the family court system. The family court system is a joke. You want to know why? Because you know what? They sit there and say, oh, we're going to take a child away. For what reason? Oh, well, there's abuse. Well, where's the charges? Oh, well, we're not going to charge the parents with a crime. Then why the hell are you taking their child away? If there is criminal activity going on in a home, it should prevent a judge from ever being able to remove that child from that home until criminal charges are brought against the parents. Because there's no reason for you to ever remove a child from a home unless there is crimes going on inside that home. And if there's crimes going on inside that home, why the hell are you giving parents a free pass? It is a joke. It is a joke. Who decides which parents get prosecuted and which ones don't? Who's the decider of the haves and have-nots in the family courts? That's what I thought. And then every last one of them hide behind this cloak of secrecy and confidentiality because they're children, never, ever, ever being held accountable, never, ever, ever being forced to tell the truth to the American people of what's going on in these departments. Cut it out. Cut it out. I'm so angry with this. I don't know where my anger, I'm just done. I'm done. Every time we turn around, it's always the Department of Children and Family Services. They need to be sued with the biggest class action lawsuit from the American people that the American people have to muster. It's a freaking joke along with the family courts. We need to be fighting back. We need to be fighting back, and we need to be changing the laws. There's no more confidentiality laws because our government, I don't trust our government. Do you? Raise your hand if you trust our government with our children. I got 157 people here. How many of you guys really, truly trust the government with our children? If you do, put a 1 in the chat. I'm not going to beat you up or anything like that. If you believe they have your child's best interest at heart, please put a 1 in there. If you don't, put a 2. I'd like to poll my audience to find out, how many people are like me. We're done. This ain't working. This is pissing away a whole bunch of money with no results. Like, we like return on investment, ROI, return on investment. Like, we're shelling out all these millions and billions of dollars for these children. We want to make sure that they're safe. We should not have housing issues for our children. We spend billions of dollars on our kids. Listen, government, look at my audience. Nobody believes you. Department of Children and Family Services, you guys are shit. Look at this. And I'm not talking about the people that are working their ass off to try to, change the system and stuff like that work, social workers. Some of those social workers should never be social workers, but some of those people, they fight for their kids. They do, and then they're in a sea of bullshit with the bureaucrats, right? It's still not working. No matter how you look at it, I guarantee you poll Department of Children and Family Services workers, they're probably going to tell you the same thing. This ain't working. If they're true to their profession and they're true to wanting to salvage kids and to give them better opportunities, trust me, there's not one social worker that's saying that that this design is working. It's not. It's not. This is not working. It's not working. This child was missing for 2 freaking years. 2 freaking years. We have the Department of Children and Family Services, a mom begging the Department of Children and then blowing her off. 2 years this poor boy sat in a shallow grave, rotting. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Like there's just nothing. All right, guys, so now we're going to be moving on to Brooke Hanlon. Brooke Hanlon's a 35-year-old psychotherapist and mother who was found fatally stabbed inside her Chester Township home in New Jersey on June 6, 2026. Her death was ruled a homicide, resulting from multiple stab-forced injuries, and the case remains active and an unsolved mystery. Her husband has just recently got a new attorney, but the discovery was around 4:30 p.m. on June 6. Her husband, James Connor Hanlon, placed a frantic 911 call, reported he found his wife unresponsive, bloodied on the second floor of their home. Who would want to murder the wife? Obviously, we kind of get the gist of how this case is going to go because, again, we deal with this kind of case all the time. It's just different players, different suspects, different victims, and different circumstances, but always the same. And we already know that we're already going to be looking at the husband in this. The audio of the call reveals her husband pleading for emergency, instructing to perform CPR. The incident was initially dispatched as a cardiac arrest before the severe injuries were uncovered. He found them as he was talking to the people on the phone. Okay, yeah, right. Law enforcement has not yet named an official suspect or person. I will tell you it's most likely her husband, James Connor Hanlon. Why? Because, again, it's not rocket science on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Most of these cases end pretty much the same way. Most of these cases, again, are the same exact thing, just different names, different players, and different circumstances. So law enforcement has not yet named him. I'm going to name him. Most likely the husband is responsible for this. The reward is $1,000. Why are they only doing $1,000? Because most likely they've already got their case pretty much wrapped up. Otherwise, it'd be much stronger than that. So let's go with her personal and professional background. She was a highly respected, licensed professional counselor, specializing in cognitive behavior and trauma therapy. Wow, trauma therapy. She worked as a psychotherapist for Life Stance Health in Bernardsville, New Jersey, and previously focused on supporting children and family in Boston. She earned her undergraduate degree in psychology at Wake Forest University and a master's degree in counseling and psychology from Northeastern University. Brooke married her husband in 2021. They've only lasted 5 years before he ultimately murdered her, allegedly, and in my opinion. The couple purchased their home in 2024, so it sounds like maybe put on by financial strain, and welcomed their daughter in 2025. Again, financial strain. Family members have confirmed that the young child is safe and under their care. So that's kind of the update that we have, just to give you a little historical information about Miss Brooke. You can see on the thumbnail right above my head that she is, we have her husband, her baby. They look happy. He clearly had some really disturbed thoughts, and instead of divorce, he decides murder, allegedly, and in my opinion.
New Jersey mother Brooke Hanlon. Authorities tell us her husband has now hired a lawyer. Investigators confirmed they have been in ongoing communication with Connor Hanlon. Brian Yanis has more on what we are learning now. Brian?
Sandra, when Fox News Digital asked investigators whether Connor Hanlon has been cooperative throughout the investigation of his wife's murder, authorities chose not to comment. The Morris County...
Why do they choose not to comment? I'm starting to think when they comment about the parents not being cooperative, they're basically saying they are not being cooperative. I again state that they are not being cooperative. We were led astray by Ronnie Lawson back in the day because he always said the parents were cooperating. It wasn't until a long time later, I want to say like a year later, approaching her first year milestone, and Ronnie Lawson tells us that the parents aren't cooperating. I believe it was March 1st of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 2023. I remember it being March 1st. I remember it being like on the first day of the month, but I could be wrong. I'm going off pure memory from 5 years ago. So please forgive me. Anyways, we just recently found, as you know, Ronnie Lawson is retiring now, that, oh my gosh, the Wells never really talked to them. They lawyered up from the very beginning, and then it brought me back to Christopher and Katie Proudfoot and him trying to kick off all those news organizations, and you're not talking to my wife alone. Remember, he always said, you can't talk to my wife alone. I'm not letting you talk to my wife alone. He was manhandling the investigation from the very beginning. And then Ronnie, and then that stupid Sheriff Snuggle Struggles, this incompetent piece of shit sheriff out there in Sumner County that likes to arrest people that don't commit crimes and arrest people for alcohol that aren't even drunk. They don't even drink. They had how many DUIs there of people that were completely 100% sober? That's the leadership of this hothead piece of garbage. That is also Navy and friends, a sheriff that's friends with the victim's family. And we think the victim's family is the reason why the victim is a victim. And the sheriff is friends with them and their family. We'll move on. But at the end of the day, I believe that they lawyered up. I don't believe that they've ever, and we had that piece of shit sheriff telling us, oh, they're cooperating. No, they're not. We're going to find out, because that's exactly what freaking what's-his-face said. That's exactly what Ronnie Lawson said back at the very beginning. You know, they're cooperating. And now we get the same bull crap answer from this piece of garbage sheriff out of Sumner County about, and I bet you we're going to find out 5 years later that they didn't even cooperate. Just like we found out with Summer Wells' parents. They never even really talked to him. What Ronnie Lawson ultimately said as he's walking out the door. What a garbage piece of garbage. There's so much corruption in Tennessee. Oh, and Sonia did send me a few cases that did end in no body homicide cases. I've got to go through them, but there were a few that she did send me, so I'll look at those. Still not enough. I mean, if you compare our state with other states, ouch, sorry about that. I was sitting on my robe. Our state with other states, you'll find out that Tennessee, by far, in this whole entire United States, is by far one of the lowest people that bring circumstantial cases. It's a culture. At the end of the day, it is a culture in the state that does not want to bring circumstantial cases. They hear that they're hard cases. They are hard cases. But it doesn't matter. When you have victims, you got to try the hard cases. The problem in Tennessee is their state is taking so much money and spending it on bullcrap that the counties don't have a whole lot of money to do these investigations with. Now, Tennessee has a lot of money in the state. The state itself has a lot of money. But these backwoods communities do not. And they're not being supported properly or adequately by the state. And it's creating this problem in Hawkins County and Sumner County and all these other counties in Tennessee from being able to prosecute these cases because they don't have money to test. They don't have money to prepare for these mega trials, these trials of epic proportion, because they are, like Summer Wells, it was such a high priority case. They don't have the money to try a high priority case. It's insanity. They don't even have the money in Tennessee to house abused children. So they leave the children into the houses with the abuse because they got no place to put them. Sick. And I could go on.
A prosecutor's office major crimes unit says Hanlon has been communicating with investigators, but the 36-year-old has not made any public comments since his wife, Brooke Hanlon's murder on June 6, more than a month ago. Hanlon has hired a lawyer, but he has not been accused of any wrongdoing. He has no criminal history. Brooke was stabbed.
No criminal history doesn't matter this day and age because they're creating freaks in our schools, okay? They're not teaching these people how to control their emotions. They give them safe spaces in coloring books, and you know what that does? It gives them an unrealistic aspect out there in the world that hey, if they have a bad day, they can just go over and sit down in a corner. No, they have no way of processing their emotions, their angers. I feel like this was a psych op to find out what happens when you don't teach people how to control their behavior, how to take rejection. I mean, all these people that are having these mass pew-pews and all this other crap is because they can't handle being rejected. We're not teaching our children anymore in school. We're sexualizing them. And that's probably the biggest problem we have right now. And you know what? All these 30-somethings and 20-somethings, their first crime is typically murder now. We used to have gateway crimes, gateway drugs. Now it's full-on addictions and full-on homicides for the first crime in many of these cases. And we've talked about them over the last several years, how all these young folks, you know, I can't even believe it. Like, we're looking at these cases, we're looking at these people. They don't even have freaking parking tickets. And their first crime, their first moment to deal with law enforcement is a homicide? These people are so ill-equipped, and not only that, the people that are committing these, like this guy, he's probably a prep. even know what to even expect inside that, and he's about to go to prison for the rest of his life. And this is all because our schools chose to indoctrinate our children. So guess what? Now we just got homicidal maniacs out there instead of people that just blow through stop signs. Way to go, America. Way to go, America. Way to go. Way to go. Oh, we don't even have that plugged in. They didn't realize I had it plugged in. I'm serious, guys. I mean, you know, this is not the first case we have of 20-something and 30-somethings committing homicide as their first crime. Don't even have a parking ticket. Never even had a conversation with an officer, and now they've got a warrant for their arrest for homicide. They're literally about to go into jail and not come out.
Stabbed to death multiple times in the couple's home on a Saturday afternoon.
Crazy.
A dispatch log obtained by Fox shows a 911 call was made at 4:29 p.m. and was logged as a suspicious death 13 minutes later. The call was made by an unknown person at the Hanlon home, which is located on a fairly isolated back road.
Home.
Brooke was a new mom. She just had a daughter a year ago.
How do you do that? How do you do that to your child? How do you get so angry you plunge a freaking knife through somebody you love? How do you lose that much control? You know how? Never teaching self-control as a child. Who has these people? Who do you think's responsible for this? The schools. I truly believe it's the schools. I've never seen so many homicidal maniacs than I have in the last 15 or 20 years coming out of our schools. And these are all public educated, and don't tell me it's the parents. I don't want to hear it, because I don't hear. I bet you this man's parents are probably frantic. They probably love their daughter-in-law. Absolutely loved it. I can't even imagine. And he's fighting for his life. He's going to go to prison. This man's going to go to prison. He's going to be somebody's bitch. Sad.
Brooke's sister says the child is now staying with family. The 35-year-old mom was a licensed psychotherapist who worked with children, adolescents, and families. The community is shocked.
Lots of people walk downtown. Lots of people walk on the hiking trails. I mean, you know, most people think the biggest threat is a bear, not, you know, somebody breaking into a house or whatever happened.
I guarantee nobody broke into a house to stab a lady. That's just ridiculous. Why would anybody break into a house to stab a lady? The only way they're either breaking into a house to stab a lady is if there's a love triangle, there's matters of the heart, or you're trying to say somebody came in there to rob her house. Is that what is that what he's trying to do? Plan B, a robber? Who the hell's going to go into their house to rob it? And why would they stab this lady multiple times like it's a crime of passion? I mean, 15 times. 15 times. That's a crime of passion. Who the hell has that much passion in their body, mind, and soul? You have the 911 call? I was going to read about the 911 call. House of Horrors. Where's my 911 call? I thought I had my 911 call. Let's listen. I think we have a 911 call. 911 call. And this would be for Brooke Hanlon. Let's see. I thought we had audio of it. I grabbed the. I might have to. Okay, so this is okay, so here it is. Okay, let's get this one up. Let me give it a second to load so it doesn't screw with my lips, which it did. Give it just a second.
The husband of slain mother.
All right, so I thought this is the one we had. I guess not. I thought I had this one up. Guess not. Okay, well, I must have accidentally exited out. This is the one I had.
And therapist Brooke Hanlon heard begging for help in a newly released 911 call.
I just found my wife. I don't know what's going on. CPR, I need CPR, just instructions.
Okay, she's not breathing or conscious?
Oh my God! There's a laceration in her. No! Please! I don't know if there's blood. Oh, I need you here. I need you here immediately.
Sir, so she is bleeding and she's not conscious. Is that correct?
No!
Okay.
Oh!
I'm sorry. I mean, you see, I mean, I'm thinking of how, I mean, think about how would you react in a situation like this? So you see somebody laying on the floor, you see blood, you don't know what's going on. The first thing you're doing is checking the person. If you're a husband or a wife, the last thing you're thinking of is the phone. In my opinion. Oh, hey, Auntie E. It's so nice to see you. Oh, big hugs and love to you. Big hugs and loves to you. But think about it. What are you, just visualize going through all of this. That's kind of what I do. I sit back and I just like close my eyes and I visualize, okay, if I seen my mom or a loved one of mine, you know, it does sound fake to me. It does. I know that it's not ringing true, right? But think about what you're doing. You're going to go there. You see all this blood. The first thing you're going to do is see if the person's alive. Right? I think that's almost an impulse, a compulsion, if you will. Like, you're not thinking of anything except checking to see if the person's alive. And you freak out after you realize the person is dead. Okay? So by that time, you're kind of seeing all these lacerations and so him saying, oh my gosh, she's got a person should have already seen that because you're already compelled. Think about it. I just want you to put in your hand. This is eerily like Brennan Banfield. Ooh, interesting. And so you have this compulsion to run and aid the person. It's the fight or flight mechanism in you. You go forward to help the loved one. You don't even think about it. You don't even think of anybody else is in the house. You just go to help. I don't think that's controllable. I think that's almost instinctual. So this whole thing about him, like, oh my, it's just like Elena Greenberg, right? Whatever her name was, Greenberg, out in Pennsylvania, you know, where he's on the phone, he's like, oh my gosh, she has a knife sticking out of her chest. And it's like, that's so fake because, again, your body is almost instinctually going to aid whoever is injured. You don't retreat. You engage. You go forward. You're like, oh my gosh, do they need help? You don't say, oh my gosh, there's blood, let me run out of the house. You go and think, oh my gosh, they need aid, they need help, they need somebody calling. You go check them, and you're like, you're either in shock that they're dead, or you're in, you start picking up the phone and trying to find out what happened and calling 911 and stuff like that. I mean, I want you to put yourself into that. I mean, you see blood everywhere. Are you going to aid the human being, or are you going to try to find a phone? I mean, I would think that I'm going to go straight to the human being and try to aid them and find out what happened and get help to them. But I think instinctually I would be drawn to the individual that's bleeding profusely versus running to a phone for help. I mean, if there's a secondary person, I would be telling them, please go call 911. If I was the only person there, I'm definitely going to render aid, see if I can stabilize the person, and then try to call 911. If they're already too far gone, they're already too far gone. But I think psychologically, we go toward the victim versus the phone initially. And so this whole thing, just like with the Greenberg case, just isn't fitting for me.
Oh my God.
Hard to listen to. Here now to react, former homicide detective.
Hard to listen to my ass. It sounds fake. It sounds awful. It doesn't sound legitimate. It sounds, look at this beautiful lady. Who the hell's going to go into their house and stab her multiple times? I mean, if somebody's coming into the house to rob you, they're going to knock you over the head. They're not going to pick up a knife and just start wailing on your chest. That doesn't make sense. They want to get in and get out, so they're just going to get you out of the way as quickly as possible so they can flee. They're not going to sit there and just, it just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. The identity involved of the individual who called 911 is Brooke, to report Brooke, the therapist Brooke, had been stabbed in her home had been revealed to be her husband. Shortly after 4:30 local time, June 6, emergency medical responded and rushed to the home on Chester after they received a report of a woman in cardiac arrest with a large laceration to her chest. According to Fox Digital, Connor Hanlon, the husband, 35, was the one on the 911 call and found her unconscious and bloodied on the floor in the house. I feel like we covered this when this happened. I really do. Because I recognized the face, and maybe that's why I was attracted to it for this one. I need CPR instructions. He was heard screaming and saying. When asked by the 911 caller if Brooke was bleeding or unconscious, he yelled no. But there had to have been blood all over that house. The police operator then provided Connor guidance on how to perform CPR on Brooke before paramedics eventually arrived to the scene. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, he heard. On the 911 call. An autopsy later determined Brooke's cause of death was multiple sharp force injuries. The manner of death was homicide, multiple. And that's the problem. I don't believe that somebody's just going to be sitting on top of her and just, wailing on her with a sharp-bladed object without having the only other thing I can think of is if she's having an affair and she refused to leave her husband, and her boyfriend decided to, if I can't have you, nobody can, right? But she just had a baby with her husband. The chances of her having an affair on her husband with another plan B or whatever is probably not even anything. It sounds like he couldn't handle his emotions. A lot of men, because of the way they were trained. Listen, in our school, when you didn't complete your work, you got a 0. You could fail your class by failing to turn in your homework, right? And your teacher would give you opportunities for extra credit if you needed it. But it was opportunities. It wasn't given. We had no safe spaces in coloring books. If we didn't do our work, it was tough shit. You get a 0. Our teachers taught us and prepared us for the real world. You all were prepared for the real world. The children this day and age are not getting educated like we all were. And we have to come to realization of that. And these kids they're having really hard times adjusting to reality of life, folks. It's just sad. Now,
Ohio reportedly discovered.
Okay, as you guys know, we also have a case in Ohio. Again, getting back to our centerpiece here. We had Lindsey Graham, if you guys are just coming in. Lindsey Graham, if you guys have not heard, he has passed away. It is a senator, a career politician, okay? I'm not in with career politicians. I'm not, at the end of the day, I can not agree with this man and still be saddened for him and his family. He served our country for well over 30 years. His entire life was serving this country. He was a colonel in the Air Force. He was a ranked colonel in the Air Force Reserves. He served on the House from 95 to 2003, and 2003 on the Senate to today on the Senate in South Carolina. And he lost his life suddenly. It sounds like this was not expected. It's like bada bing, bada boom, and he's gone. He died last night unexpectedly. And then, of course, we still have Mitch McConnell that is being controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. And quite frankly, I believe he married a spy. And as soon as he had a medical condition, she flew back to China to find out how to handle her husband. And now she's back here with him being kept alive by false means in an effort to maintain power and control. And I think it's disgusting. And somebody needs to he is a senator of Kentucky. We need him. And I feel like we're being lied to. And I think at this point, we should have some subpoena power. If they're lying to us about his condition, we need to know, because it sounds to me he's brain dead. He's not coming back. He's not coming back to work. And he's being kept alive by life support. That's the only thing. And they're only keeping him alive to literally hold America hostage. That's what I'm hearing. That is exactly what I'm hearing. So, it's sad. This was unexpected to hear about Lindsey Graham, but not about Mitch McConnell. When are they going to be taking Mitch McConnell off life support? That's what I would like to know. When is it convenient for the Chinese Communist Party to let the man go? I'm just curious. And this is why you don't get bought and paid for by freaking third world countries. I'm just saying. Now we move over to Ohio. Ohio, tragic. We don't know the kids. We know that there's 16 kids. We know that this lady, Elizabeth Sider, has had more than 19 children. She seems like she's just been a baby maker for her husband. And it seems like we don't know what's going on. Was this mental illness? Is this a hoarding? Is this, SA? Is this CSAM? Or is this just terrible people doing terrible things, or this lady not knowing better? It seems to me that she was in this relationship with Siders Jr., Gary Siders Jr., since she was 13 years old, marrying him at 15. He had full control over her that entire time, and she was left home to make babies. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like his mother and father couldn't take care of himself, and it sounds like they all got together thinking they could help each other out. But it seems to me that over the years, his mom and dad had this klepto problem because of their lifestyle, right? They're so poor, they know that they need this tomorrow because they can't afford it today, type of thing. And I think that they had a hoarding lifestyle, and they decided to put the kids in one solitary room, and it was, from what I hear, it was disgusting. It was, that the kids couldn't talk. They didn't know bathroom. They didn't know this. They didn't know anything. They didn't know how to do anything. And I don't believe that they are autistic, or I just think that they were never given the opportunity to learn or expand their brain. And it's very, very sad. And we're hearing that some of the kids were feral. That means they didn't even know what it was like to be around other human beings, outside of that group of people. From what I was hearing, the neighbors didn't even know that they had kids, let alone 16 in the house. These kids never went outside. They never got fresh air. This was like something out of a horror movie, where people are coming up out of the sewers and they're white and pasty and rotten teeth and, blinded by the light. I mean, this is what some of those, that's when West Virginia had marriage agents. 15. They changed it to 16. I'm sorry, but it's still too young in today's society. When children were marrying each other, our life expectancy was 35, 40 years old. Okay? So, families became families much younger in this country, 13, 14, 15 years old. Children were being adults, but now that we're living into our 80s and 90s and 100s, our society has changed, and with that change comes child protection. Back when our country was first formed, again, people didn't live past 35 or 40. Okay, they weren't living as long as they're living today, so you needed to start your life and your family very young in our early years of existence. But again, that was 250 years ago. A lot has changed since then. Our society has changed. The life expectancy has changed. So that's given our young people the ability to be children longer and to get better educated. And that's really what it's all about. And all of these advancements that we've done over the years have really excelled the life expectancy of human beings. We're having more 100-year-old people nowadays than we've ever had in the history of America. So I want to point that out. And I do believe that's advancements in medical, that's advancements in education, that's advancements in just knowledge about the human body and life in general. So I just want to put that out there. But this day and age, we don't need people being married that young. They need to be, and now that we know that there's predators that find people to marry that young or even younger, we now have even a more of a need to protect our young children and our young youth from becoming victims of these child bride situations.
Discovered 16 children ranging in age from 1.5 to 18 years old, locked away in a feces-covered 12 by 12 room, barely able to communicate, with serious medical conditions. The question of who to hold responsible became an immediate one.
The people to hold responsible is the state. I'm sorry, the state. They didn't leave the state of South Carolina. They moved counties, and since we have started, I have talked about a national child database here in this country. I think since the Summer Wells case, we've talked about how we can fix some of the problems that we're having. And we learned that, Don and Candace had a lot of child problems, and the department problems, department being in their house in Florida, in Arkansas, in Utah, and in Tennessee. Many of their children were already taken from them. 2 sets of children, a boy and a girl from Candace's prior marriage were taken from her. Children from Don's prior marriage were taken from him. Plus they had children together that were taken from them. But if they had this national database, they would have known how many times the Department of Children and Family Services have been around. And what it also does is every time somebody moves out of the state or out of the county that has an open report or is part of the Department of Children and Family Services, when they change their driver's license or their address at the DMVs anywhere in the United States of America, it will trigger a forced home visit by the acting Department of Children and Family Services in that community, so they can no longer move out of the county or the state to avoid dealing with the Department of Children and Family Services. This is 2026. For us not to have a program like that right now is disgusting to me. And every time I turn around, everybody's talking to me, well, something like that costs money. Well, right now we're pissing away billions of dollars for a bunch of social workers that ain't doing their job, that are in a system that is not working to save children. It's still being reactive instead of proactive. And so we have a lot of children deaths that should have been removed that had contact. The Department of Children and Family Services were already involved. Why were they not removed? Why were they not removed? And it's getting to the point where it is so widespread across this country. We need something. I don't give a shit if this database costs us $1 billion to create. We're pissing $1 billion away every year on crap that ain't working for the children now. So if we can get one thing that's going to give us an edge and keep these kids accounted for, so we don't have a story like Prince, what we had earlier today, where he's gone for 2 years and nobody's looking for him until it's too late, until they find a body in a shallow grave. That's a little too late, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. I mean, our government's so much smarter than me and all. But it's sad because these people were in there. And then comes the hardest conversation to have about this case. And the hardest part of the conversation to have is Mom. Because on one side of the screen, you see a bright, happy, loving, thriving 13-year-old girl. And on the other side, you see a hollowed out human being that has had 19 kids, that has no life, that literally lives in garbage. And then we learn about her story and we keep wondering, is she a victim as well? Maybe if the Department of Children and Family Services saved her, maybe we wouldn't even be running this story today. Something to think about. Because when you're conditioned to think that this lifestyle is normal, that this is how everybody lives, you don't think what you're doing is wrong. How can you punish somebody that doesn't think what they're doing is wrong? Did she know what she was doing was wrong? Was she beaten? Was she abused? Like, really, what was going on? She doesn't look at her. One person has life in their eyes. One person is dead in their eyes. These are the same persons, right? Elizabeth on one side of the screen and Elizabeth on the other side of the screen. It's hard to believe these are two of the same people. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to deal with. And to think of what in the world is a feral kid. Feral is the word being used. Feral. Feral. We have this little segment from Forbes coming in, and it's about someone coming forward, but I guess it is new. I thought this was from a week ago, but I guess it is just over the last 24 hours. So let's get into it. If you guys don't know, we're covering the case right now. We just went over the House of Horrors. One of the cases that aren't on here of the 4 cases we're covering is Nancy Guthrie's. Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old grandmother that disappeared from her house. She was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. Now, we don't know if there's multiple people or a single assailant, but every bit of information we have appears to be a single assailant. Factually, I mean, there is some theories and posturing that could be had that multiple people were involved in this crime, but so far the evidence is only showing one person on camera, one person by eyewitnesses that were around the area on January 11th, before 20 days before she disappeared. And January 11th is also when the same masked gunman was observed on her Ring doorbell camera in the middle of the night, and he had a bag in his hand, a tool pouch. He seemed like he was there to rob the house, and something happened. He left the house and ended up coming back 20 days with a full backpack. What was in that full backpack, and what was his intentions the next trip there? So we've got some questions related to that case. Now we're going to kind of get into just a little bit of updates from some FBI agents.
I think that someone will. Am I surprised that no one's come forward as of yet? Not really. I believe that time changes everything. Relationships change over time. Friends don't become friends anymore. Girlfriend, boyfriend they kind of break up. So there's a lot of things that can happen here. And time is really our best ally here. It's our best asset. So I think over time, you're going to find that someone will come forward that's going to offer a piece of evidence that's going to lead to the solving of this case.
So that's the prediction. That is the prediction. And of course, if you guys missed our segment yesterday, I want to make sure that we touch on it today from Cheryl McCullum. I like Cheryl. I have over the years learned to respect her. She's very calming and a soothing talker, and she really breaks down why she does not believe the ransom notes. Now, you guys know I fought tooth and nail. I don't believe any of these ransom notes, and I really think that Jennifer Coffindaffer went a little overboard on her assessment of the ransom and the wrench attacks, and I think it's going to do her a disservice moving forward, or cause her a little bit of problems because of the way she handled it. But neither here nor there. I don't believe them, even though I highly respect Jennifer Coffindaffer and her assessments and stuff like that. I just totally and wholeheartedly disagree with this whole rabbit hole. And I'm going to call it a rabbit hole because that's what I think it is.
Swim in a sewer. Solving the cold case of the Flint River killer's daughter and host of the Zone 7 podcast. Cheryl McCollum, friend of mine, thank you very much for coming into the studio today to talk about this. You and I have been talking about this since it began.
Oh, yeah.
And, I just, every time we hear about one of these new letters, I keep wondering, why are these letters going to TMZ? What do you make of this latest letter that Harvey's talking about?
Laura, I have not changed my opinion on any of the letters. It's bogus. If you have video, send it to law enforcement. There's $1 million waiting for you. But now you're only asking for $60,000. None of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
If you have the actual kidnappers on video and you know their names and their ages and their addresses, why is this thing not solved?
So we've got emails and we've got notes, and apparently, you know, one of these letters or notes, Savannah Guthrie believed could have some credibility because, you know, there were reports that whoever is writing some of these, or one of them, that they knew something about what was inside the house, the Apple Watch, that she had the exact location, maybe some other details. Do we think any of that could be true?
I don't think any of it's true. They're all bogus. And the reason is, look what they're asking. They didn't ransom her immediately. They waited days. Then they give you a double ransom date. Who does that?
Right.
And then Savannah says, we will pay. Then there's no more communication. Now they're waiting 145 days. And again, they're asking for something odd. We're back to the Bitcoin. But now they're alleging they have a secret phone in a secret location. It just doesn't pan out to me. None of it sounds authentic.
None of it sounds authentic. And I agree with it. To me, none of that really sounds authentic. And I really think that is what it comes down to for me, is the authenticity of whether they're, and nobody was able to ever really tell us that they were, nobody was really able to tell us whether it was authentic or not. So without proof of life or proof of death, I don't believe them. I just don't. So now, guys, we're moving on to the end of our show. This is the case and accounts of Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was well-known conservative voice. He was a strategist in many things. He knew exactly what needed to be done and what places to put people. He looked at people. He's the one that got an independent like Robert Kennedy hooked up with Donald Trump to have Maha. And I think that is, you know, going kind of across little lines, political lines like that was very, very strategic and the right move. And I think things like that, you know, this down ticket, that's the way I've been taught, you know, down ticket, always vote, down ticket. And I'm sick of that anymore because you know what? It's keeping us divided. We need to be voting for the person that's best for the position. That's best for the position, period. And I'm sick and tired of the down ticket. I don't believe in the down ticket anymore. I think the down ticket is exactly why we're being ran over here in the state of Florida with all these developers. They're buying our politicians. Pat Neal is literally buying our governor. Okay? It's exactly why I have backed away from Byron Donalds. I love Byron Donalds. I spoke to him and his wife back in 2022 asking about their aspirations for governor at a dinner at a Republican Liberty Caucus meeting. He wasn't even thinking about governor. And I was talking to him at a dinner about that. Him and his wife. I have been supported. It's the minute I saw him over at the last rally, I wanted to go and help campaign, door knock, phone bank, all that stuff. Talk to his representative about doing all of that for Byron Donalds. He refuses to debate. They tried to kick Donald J. Trump off the debate stage when he was trying to run for president. I will never forget it. I will never forget how many times they tried to exclude Donald J. Trump, our president, from debating. And to think that our own party is now failing to debate. The debate is not for them. It's for us. And when you think you are entitled to a vote or my vote or anybody else's vote for that matter, that is exactly what got our country into this freaking mess to begin with. I am not a fucking pawn. I don't vote just to get along with I am a political activist. And if you are not acting in the best interest of my community, you do not get my vote. I have withdrew my support of Byron Donalds over his shenanigans. Absolutely 100% pulled my support from Byron Donalds. I will not do anything for him. I will not help him. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sit up on my platform every single day and explain why it's so important to have People first. America first. That means you are not entitled to my freaking vote. I want a damn debate. I want to know where you stand on positions and causes, because just because we align on this position doesn't mean we align on this position, and this position might be a no-go for me. This is an opportunity for me and the rest of Florida to decide whether we want somebody to be our governor and lead the state of Florida. And here I've got somebody that's GQ now, that has his head bigger than the state of Texas, telling the people here in the state of Florida, fuck you. You're not worth me getting on stage and debating. That's what Byron Donald told everybody here in the state of Florida. He said, fuck you. Excuse my language on a Sunday, but that's exactly what that man said to us when he chose not to debate. If he's the winner, that's not going to change whether he debates or not. But what he did was dirty. It was slimy. It was establishment. And guess what I'm trying to fight? The establishment. So where do you think Byron Donalds just went for me? He went right over into the wrong category of establishment, anti-Betty. Betty will never vote for you. Betty will never support you. You are now over there. That's exactly where Anthony Sabatini ended up getting. Whenever he decided to do the same damn thing, his head got too big and he tanked his career. But the problem is that Byron has so much support, and now he's been bought by the developers around the state of Florida. I can almost guarantee that me not voting for him ain't going to move the needle one bit. But hopefully I use my platform, educate people, and maybe, just maybe, he will understand why he should not sit there and tell Florida. Just saying. But that's what I heard when he told me that, when he told the world he refuses to debate, and how he's won his. No, you did not. You did not win your election until we go to vote. And when you tell me that I'm not allowed to learn about you, well, by God, I supported you for 5 freaking years, Donald. 5 years I supported you. Never again. Never again. He will not be getting a vote from Bullhorn Betty this year. There's only one way he's going to get my vote, and that's if he debates. And I don't think he's going to do it. So I think he's lost my vote. And not only that, but when you lose my vote, just like Ron DeSantis, you lose my vote into perpetuity. Okay? When you do slimy, sleazy shit like this, it's not just this vote. It's all of the subsequent votes after this. I will never vote for Donald again. Donald's is done. For me. Donald's is done for me. I will never, ever, ever vote for him again. Not in Florida, not in Congress, not anywhere. The only thing that's going to change my mind is a vote, or a debate. That's the only thing that's going to change my mind is a debate. So, long story short, let's get into politics. This is the Charlie Kirk case. He was assassinated because of a lot of the disgusting language and, saying that we're Nazis and everything else. Obviously, it's not true. We love people. You guys come here every single day. You guys see my heart displayed on this show literally daily. I care about everybody. What I don't care about is people that try to destroy my country. You'll find out that you get on the shit list really quick if you hate America. Okay, I absolutely love America. I think the majority of Americans love America. I think we have a small group, a growing group of dissent in America. And the only thing I can say is you can move anywhere you want. It's a free country here in America. So nobody's holding you here. So if you hate this country so much, by God, go any place else you want to go. Hell, we'll even start raising some money to get you there quicker, if that's really, truly where your heart is. Because we don't want anybody here that doesn't want to be here. Right? And you don't have to stay. That's the beauty of America. Everybody bitching about how they hate America. You guys are very, very well and equipped to pack up your shit and move the hell out. Problem solved. Now you can hate America from a different country. But I promise you, once you get to that different country, just like that good lady that got shot, right? She was up in Canada because they were so much more accepting of them. Remember that? Because she was a lesbian? Listen, America's very accepting of gay, lesbians, and all that. We just don't want you touching our children, right? That's it. We don't want that infiltrated in our children. That's it. Let our children grow up to be kids and let them decide where their adulthood is going to be. That's all we say, right? So at the end of the day, they ended up coming back to the United States. Why? Because the United States is the greatest place on earth. And no matter what you tell your thick brain, even the people that said, I'm moving out of America, it's America. They go to freaking Canada, and guess what? They realize the grass is not greener on the other side. It's all smoke and mirrors. And then, bada bing, bada boom, they come back to the United States. Why? I thought they hated the United States. I thought the United States was literally killing them, right? By our policies. Well, I'm just saying. Why is everybody moving over to Canada and then turning around and moving back to the United States? I thought Canada understood them and dealt with their lifestyle a lot better than us here in the United States did. Oh, that was a lie too. Wow. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that the United States is actually welcoming of all walks of life, including different sexual appetites. More so than what? Canada? No. Yes, folks. So let's stop with the nonsense. America's a great place to live. America is the freest country in the free world. This is a place you can be yourself and not be murdered by your government for being yourself. Okay? That is uncommon in the majority of the world right now. Okay? So if you don't think you have it good, maybe it's time for you to be a good and go experience the rest of the world so you can come back here and be a little more appreciative. And even when she came back here, she still wasn't appreciative of what she had, and she ended up getting herself killed. So there is all of that in a nutshell. But at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk was assassinated because of all of this disgusting behavior from the right, from the left, from the middle, from people that just have dark hearts and have put targets on people's backs for no reason. Somebody acted on it, and now Charlie Kirk is dead. That young man that acted on it, trust me, I'm sure he really regrets his decision now. But it's a day late and a dollar short, and you can't undo what you've done. You know, this Tyler Robinson, no matter how much he prays and hopes, no matter how much his mom and dad pray and hope, they can't undo this for him. It's done. The consequences are real, and the consequences are permanent. But there is a gag order that has now been ruled on.
Bring in Turning Point USA spokesperson and Charlie Kirk's close friend, Andrew Coulthart. Andrew, it's good to see you. How important is it to Charlie's memory that the country sees in full detail what this evidence is, and why is it so important?
Well, it's extraordinarily important because, as you saw, Leland, in the 10 months between Charlie's assassination and the preliminary hearing here, there was a vacuum, a void left where nobody got to see what the state's evidence actually was. How overwhelming is the word you used. One of the prosecutors this morning called it devastating for the defense's case. So I don't really know where they have to go here. But Leland, in the moments after they wrapped up the final witness, they actually played the compilation video. They called it the enhanced video. I'm told it's a bit like a John Madden style video where they zoom in and they put circles around to draw your eye to where you need to look. And I'm getting text after text. I just spoke with Jack Posobiec, who was in the courtroom today, and he said it is shockingly clear. The video is shockingly clear.
Much of Tyler Robinson that we're not going to see. And I guess what the issue has been, right, that after Charlie Kirk's assassination, there was a massive amount of conspiracy theories that were floated. And
a lot of them born by Candace Owen.
In the trial, the preliminary hearing first, was thought to be the antidote to that, that it would finally put them to rest.
And of course, they withhold like the majority of the frickin' evidence, and even Erica Kirk petitioned the court to make the evidence public. And the judge in Utah, said, no, we're not going to make the evidence public. This is a public trial. And it seems all too often our judges around this country think these are private. Like even this whole thing with him, they give 14 seats to the public. 14 seats to the public? And they call this an open and fair process? The hell it is. The hell it is.
I would think now, with the judge saying the media can't show any of these videos or any of these exhibits, all it's going to do is give new life, give new fuel to the fire of the conspiracy.
Because judges are idiots.
I mean, yes, I think
I'm getting so sick and tired of our system. It's like I look at it and I just say, you're an idiot, 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 and you're an idiot. Like, these people are supposed to be so much smarter than the rest of us, and we just look at them like they're freaking idiots.
I think what the judge was trying to do is he's trying to balance the constitutional rights, the 6th and the 14th Amendment rights of Tyler Robinson, which he deserves a fair trial.
He deserves a fair trial, but part of that process is a preliminary hearing, a public preliminary hearing that only 14 people in the public could show up for.
And he deserves a robust defense. You're innocent until proven guilty. But I will say that, even as I was just saying, there is a piece of evidence that needs to get out to the public, because when they see this, from what I'm hearing, it is extraordinarily clear. Leland, we saw the compilation video this week that the judge did allow the press to broadcast. But this enhanced video, you actually, in Jack Posovic's words and Benny Johnson's words, I'm hearing it from multiple other people who are in the courtroom, you see him actually assemble the rifle and take the shot. Wow.
He's going down. He's going down. Assemble the rifle and take the shot.
Hearing to lay out the evidence against Charlie Kirk's accused killer about to get underway in Utah. After Kirk's widow,
I just want to remind everybody, you know, a preliminary hearing is a public hearing, okay? It's a public hearing, and it's part of the public process to present the evidence against the person. The public preliminary hearing cannot be justification for an appeal of you know, fair trial appeal. It's part of the process. So I don't understand this philosophy that the preliminary hearing somehow has to be secret. If it was supposed to be secret, it would have always been secret for everybody across the board, not special for this guy violating the 14th Amendment, by the way. I want to make sure I'm very clear on my position of this. Very clear. Because everybody is entitled to a public preliminary hearing. Why is he being treated differently than everybody else in this country? Why is he being treated differently than everybody else in the country? Isn't that a violation in and of itself of the 14th Amendment? Yet the judge is sitting here trying to balance the 14th Amendment right while violating it. Huh. Interesting. Interesting.
America and his family came face to face with him for the first time yesterday. We're expecting her back in court at the top of the hour as well. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Morning to you. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning.
And I'm Bullhorn Betty. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Show.
And disturbing video on day one. It's a 5-day preliminary hearing. It's going to happen every day this week. Erica Kirk deciding to leave the courtroom to avoid watching videos of her husband's horrific murder. When at least 2 of those videos were shown, there were only certain people who watched that, including the judge and the witness and the lawyers. A former campus police officer giving testimony about video that shows a person getting into position on the roof and taking a shot, and then after that shot was fired, running away.
So we've all seen this video. We've done a lot on this one. And then lastly, the ones that we are able to see is the Lance Twigg testimony. The Lance Twigg testimony. This is not, I mean, it's been broadcasted, but I don't even know how many people have watched this. Let me see how many people have watched this so far. 83,000. So this is the Lance Twigg testimony here.
This meeting is to use your statement here instead of your testimony at a preliminary hearing. Understand that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to place you under oath and also give you an admonition about false statements, okay? First, you do solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give in this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I also need to notify you that you are notified that statements you are about to make may be presented to a magistrate or a judge in lieu of your sworn testimony at a preliminary examination. Any false statement you make and that you do not believe to be true may subject you to criminal punishment as a Class A misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes.
It potentially could be used as for punishment as a higher offense as obstruction of justice. In addition, I just want to make sure that our recording here is clear that you've also been given a federal agreement and a state agreement granting you immunity from prosecution for materials that you discuss now. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, we're going to cover some of the things that you've already talked about, but to make it as part of this record. First, what's your name?
Full name with middle name or just first and last?
First and last is fine.
Okay, my name is Lance Twiggs.
And do you know Tyler Robinson?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
And this is the same Tyler Robinson that's been charged with the shooting of Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
And would you say when you first met Tyler?
I think it was 2023. I've known him longer than that, though. That was, I think, the first time I met him in person.
Okay.
And will you describe your relationship with Tyler when you first met him anyway?
The echoing is not for me.
When I first met him, I didn't know him super well. He was just a new roommate, so
just want to let you guys know the echoing is not coming from our system. It is coming from the recording on how they're presenting it. I don't know why it's getting that echo, but I just want to make sure you guys know it's not coming from us.
I knew he knew my friend group, and I knew he liked playing games, but that's about it when we first, when he first moved in.
Okay. Before we go on, I realized my mic was muted at the outset. Was yours on, your microphone?
No,
Okay. I'm going to repeat those admonitions just to make sure we got it recorded. Okay, so again, I placed you under oath. Just to make a record, I'm going to do it again. You do solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
And again, I'm going to give you the false statement admonition.
Sorry, hold on. They're saying that it's echoing, so
I think this one's mic is on.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, you don't unmute my mic.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we should be good. All right.
All right, so there we go. They had the echoing issue going on. So they're fixing the problem.
Is that mic off?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
All right, okay, sorry about that interruption. All right, so you said when you first met you were roommates?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at some point, your relationship progressed to something more than just roommates, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
I think we started dating 2 or 3 months after he moved in.
Okay. And where did you live at that time?
St. George, in an apartment complex.
And is that apartment the same place you lived on September 10th?
Yes.
When you lived there with Tyler, were you in the same room? Did you live in the same room or different rooms?
No, separate rooms.
And at that time, let's say September of 2025, what were you doing with your life? Were you working, school?
I was working. I was doing like bathtub and shower repair and stuff in new construction.
Okay. How about Tyler?
I think he was both working. I think he was working for an electrician company then, and he was also in a trade.
So they both had very manly jobs. And just interesting, because I thought they were wanting to be female or something like that. Maybe I've got their whole relationship wrong.
School for being I don't know, higher ranking electrician. I'm not sure how the trade system works for that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he was both.
What was his typical work day like?
I think he'd leave around 7 generally and get back around 3 to 4. depending on like where the job was and how long it was for the day. And then on certain days of the week during.
No, this is summary. This is Tyler's lover. This is his boyfriend. This is his, I mean, I don't know. They were in this furry transgender type of, like Twigs was transitioning, which is pretty interesting that he's in construction and in the process of transitioning. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
School, like, semesters, he would then later in the day, I think around 5 or 6, go to school. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's jump to September 10th. Did he spend the night in the apartment the night of September 9th into September 10th?
Into September 10th. Yeah, he did. Yes.
Do you know when he left the apartment on September 10th?
I don't know an exact time. I just know he left early. I heard him leaving, and he just said he had a long drive to work that day, so he was leaving early.
Okay, so early. Any guess as to what when that was?
I don't know. I would have thought it was 5 a.m. because that's when like an early work day was for him, but it was probably more like 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna have him spit out his gum just to make sure that
I can do that.
You mind? I think you're right in front of your laptop.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would have told him no.
All right, so what
That's
time
the
did
only
you get
thing
up
keeping
on
me
September
calm.
10th?
Probably like 12 to 1 p.m.
You didn't have to work that day?
No.
And did you hear from Tyler? Did he call or text you before then?
No, he sent that message in the group chat I mentioned, but he didn't message me directly.
Group chat. So how many other people knew about this, and how many people in that group were waiting for him, and how did that group know? Why would he be posting something like that in a group chat instead of just a chat directly to his boyfriend?
At all that day.
Okay. When did you first hear from him on September 10th?
It was at 11 o'clock with that like automated message.
Okay, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
What about, he asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family. And he asked me for if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets. And I just told him where our Dremel was, and
I'm sorry, I don't find that, nobody's going to go hunting with their family and inscribe bullets. I mean, these are just things that don't make sense.
I told him to make sure he doesn't,
It is blank. It is, I don't know what they're showing on the screen. I think this might be something that they redacted. They might have been forced to redact it, but maybe they're just getting it prepared to see what's on screen, or maybe they just took that off. I don't know. His face is not... from this point, whatever they're showing doesn't come back on for quite some time. You can only hear it. I don't know why that is. Maybe the camera went out, but the audio's there because it doesn't come back in for another, looks like 6 more minutes, potentially 6 more minutes. We're going to be without a photo.
Let off a bullet on accident in the house, but I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember, because he'd been talking about the hunting/camping trip for a couple months, but I don't remember when he was specifically asking to engrave the bullets.
So that must have been the code name. So he sounds like he's been planning this a couple months, because you know, if he's talking about a hunting trip with his family, but it's not really a hunting trip with his family, it's really an assassination of Charlie Kirk. It sounds like he's been planning this for a couple months, and it brings back the question where the neighbors said that they saw some really rough guys going into his house a week to 2 weeks before this assassination.
Year before?
Oh no, not that long. It would have been, I'd say, at most a month before this was when he was asking.
Okay. Okay. All right. You talked about the note that he left. I want to bring this up, and I should say that these text messages that we've been looking at here are base number 54. Okay. The notes have been titled 16.3 with a note, and this is base number 58. Do you recognize that on the screen there?
Yeah.
What do you recognize it as?
That was the note under his keyboard that he was referring to in the first text of that chain.
Okay, so where did you find this?
On his desk underneath his computer keyboard.
And I assume you read it.
Yeah.
And then what did you do with it after you read it?
I believe I just put it back down on the desk after I took a picture of it.
Okay. And again, the time you read it was probably around 11 o'clock or so on the 10th.
Yes.
The night of September 10th.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And did you ever see that again after you placed it back on his desk?
No, I don't think I did.
And that was a desk in his bedroom?
Yes.
And that's a separate bedroom than your bedroom?
Yeah.
I now want to go to what's been titled 16.2. And do you recognize this series of messages here?
So they're not showing us the messages. They're not showing us anything.
Yeah, that was the server, like his friend that I was mentioning.
Okay, and this is your phone again?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you recognize it because the big crack up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a server. Is this Discord?
Yeah, this is Discord.
And who are members of this server? I don't want names, just generally. Who are these people?
This is his friend group. They play D&D together every week.
Okay.
So his friend group. So there is differences between his friends and Twig's friends. Apparently, they didn't they seemed like they were cohabitating, but not cohabitating. Were they really boyfriends, or were they just, I don't know. This is weird. They have separate rooms. They have separate friends, yet they're dating. That just, usually you incorporate your significant other in those things, I don't know.
Okay. And I just want to scroll through this to make sure that you get a chance to take a look at it. Ready to go to the next page?
Mm-hmm.
It's all black. There's nothing worth seeing. Let me see if I can show you guys. I know you guys are like, we're just looking at a blank screen. It's a blank screen. We got a blank screen.
So Tyler Icom, who's that?
That's Tyler Robinson.
There we go.
And these other people are just others that are members of the server?
Yes.
Jug, Barnaby, Marina,
they're not
DM.
showing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, DM means Dungeon Master. So these are most of them are names they're using in the game they're playing currently.
Got it.
Yeah, we talked about Lindsey Graham passing. He was one of the first stories we covered today. There he is, Lindsey Graham.
Tyler, it looks like it's 8 p.m.
8 p.m. last message.
And do you know what day this would have been? 8 p.m. on the 10th or the 11th?
I would think that would be the 11th.
They were both in that Discord.
Because at least I think so, because I don't think on the 10th that he messaged anyone before me at 11. So.
And he turned himself in on the 11th, right?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay. So again, we're just going to go through this so that we have a record of the messages. Is that an accurate recording of that thread?
To my knowledge, yes.
And that was sent, looks like between September 10th and September 12th. Looks like the last day on this is September 12th. Screen?
Yes.
It should be coming back on here shortly. Yeah, we should be coming back on. Yeah, we're coming back on in just a few more seconds. He'll be back up. There he is.
All right, so again, those messages covered from September 10th to the evening of September 11th. Now, September 11th, what time did you see Tyler on September 11th?
Yes.
When did you first see him on September 11th? So this is the day after the shooting?
Yeah, I saw him when I woke up. Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house. And then I think I saw him after that message where I said I'll come home and say I'm doing laundry, because I didn't want him going to my parents' house right then when he said there was probably cops outside. So I went back home, and it was just him there, and I said bye to him, and then he drove off. So I just went back to my parents' house.
Because he didn't like his speech. He didn't like the fact that he was, he was a Bible person. He believed in the Bible, and the Bible says certain things, and he, reiterates those things, and some people don't like the things that are in the Bible. And at the end of the day, this is America. We all have freedom of speech. We should not be murdered because of the way we think. If you don't like the way we think, if you don't like the way somebody thinks, whether I think it or you think it or anybody else, then change the channel. Move out of this. If we don't have or have the same character, class, or integrity, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to be involved in it. You definitely don't need to be murdering people because they think differently than you, right? If we all did that, this world would be barbaric. We're far beyond barbaric. We used to be barbaric. We're more civilized now. And the difference between a civilized country and a barbaric country is our freedoms.
So he acted erratically. Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
Right, and that's within the home?
Mm-hmm.
And did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. He started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy.
Well, you know what? This has everything that we talk about is wrong with, part of our society. The gaming system. People think that, because they're so entrenched in all this gaming that people, go and murder people or gank grandma's purse and murder her in these games. And the grandma pops up, the victim pops back up, and you play it again and you do it all over again. In real life, that doesn't happen. When you take somebody's life, it's over. The decision is permanent. Okay? It doesn't go to the next level and you get everything back. It's done. It's permanent. And once you make the decision, look at all the planning this guy did. For months, he did all of this. And then he goes and does what he does, and now he wishes he never did it. And he's going to lose his life. He's going to lose his life over a decision he chose to make. And he regrets every bit of it. And it's too late. He can't undo this. He can't undo this. And it's going to be really hard for him to spend the rest of his life realizing he was the only fascist in this whole entire story. That's the worst part about it. Catch fascist inscribed in the bullet, Lori Smith says. Right? Yet, he was the only fascist in the story. That's a hard pill for these knuckleheads to swallow. That it's not us that are the fascists. It's them. And he's going to be somebody's freaking cupcake.
You're distracted or something.
Okay. Did he talk about what he was going to do next?
I believe there was drugs involved. That's what I believe.
And then eventually said that he would talk to his parents or turn himself over.
Okay. And when you left, was that how you left, understanding that he was going to turn himself in or go to his parents' house?
Yeah, and I didn't really want to be at our apartment while any of that was happening, regardless of what went down.
Sounds like a coward to me. Doesn't even want to stand by your man. Stand by your man.
Okay, before he came home, had you seen the press releases, any of the media on this?
I'd seen one Instagram link a friend of mine had sent in our group chat.
In our group
I
chat.
hadn't really looked into it at all.
I'm sure you didn't. You're a lover, but not looking into it.
The suspect.
I did.
If your lover is involved, it doesn't matter whether you're a gay lover or whether you're a homosexual, heterosexual. Are you really going to tell me that if your significant other was involved in something, you're not going to look into it? I mean, I'm a nosy broad, right? And I'm nosy in things that don't even involve me or mine. But you think that if there was something that involved me or mine, I'm not going to be poking my nose around it? I call this is horse malarkey. This is horse malarkey, folks. This is horse malarkey. He's like, oh, well, we heard, but I didn't look into it. Horse malarkey. Horse malarkey. Horse malarkey.
Did the next day. I don't think I saw any on the 10th.
I'm going to show you
I don't believe
couple of
him.
those
I don't
images.
believe Lance. I believe part of his story true, but I don't believe a lot of his. He's. It's not even about the emotion. It's just the lack of emotion doesn't bother. Well, it kind of does, because you would think that he would be a little more involved, that he's never going to see his boyfriend that he allegedly loves, right? But I think it's all the chemicals in his body that's made him do all these things. I think he's a chemical imbalance. I think many of these people, children, as they are evolving in life and becoming an adult, their brain goes through a lot of changes, okay? And sometimes, especially people with psychology degrees, know exactly when to start going after you, right? To start changing your mind, right? So I really do believe that this is mental illness, or this is, substance abuse. Substance abuse with indoctrination kind of mixed into it. And then you have this, where you have two dudes that live like dudes, but behind closed doors live this different lifestyle than they're portraying to everybody out there in the public. They had very manly jobs, but yet we're hearing Lance Twigg was in the process of converting to a woman. So women typically don't have, construction jobs. I mean, there are a few, right? There are a few. I work construction jobs, but there are a few out there, but very little. I can tell you that because I work construction jobs.
Okay, I'm on the FBI's website. You can see the URL there at the top. This is some press release about this event. And here on the screen,
I get angry.
Looks like there's 2 rows of 3 images.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm nervous, scared, or something, or don't have it, I get angry. Like mine comes out almost anger, like, I can't believe you did that, right? Instead of like, oh, are you okay? I don't know why, but it just does. When I'm nervous or scared, I guess it's my mad dog face. It comes out in like anger, like, I don't know.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say it with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing, the sunglasses.
As far as camera quality, really?
I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat, and then jeans. So it definitely, especially the bottom, the last two, definitely do look like him.
Okay. So the boyfriend that's seen this man completely butt naked and everything just can't seem to recognize his boyfriend except for the last two photos with certainty. All right, whatever.
Oh, they do look like Tyler Robinson.
And you talked about that with your friends, right? This is like him.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I talked.
He has too much distancing language. His friends, my friends, his room. He's distancing himself. This is classic distancing. I wish they would charge Lance. Lance has enough involvement here. Just my opinion. I'm sorry. I don't believe. There's just things that are here that I can see are don't bode. It doesn't logically make sense in my brain.
I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't know on my friends' end.
Okay.
Lesbian women being in construction jobs much different than a man converting to a woman. I'm just saying, you know, there are I just don't know too many gay people that are truly in the construction. I mean, I do know a few, but they're mostly in, you know, the design aspect of it, the because they like beauty and they do excellent you know, staging and stuff like that, but actual physical you know, construction. I mean, yeah. I mean, I did it because I was my daddy's little girl, and I went on the truck with him. I rode with my daddy everywhere he went. You know, it was just part of me. It wasn't because I was butch or anything like that. But if my dad wasn't in construction as a female, I don't think that would be something that I would necessarily aspire to go in. And so somebody that's converting to a woman versus somebody that's converting to a man, somebody converting to a man might, you know, establish that. And I'm not completely utterly sexist. I am partially sexist, and I'm fine with it, and I own it. I don't really care what people think about me. I own everything about me, right? It's all about being truth and understanding. So I'm a little sexist when it comes to things like that, you know. And yeah, I was on doing a man's job or a manlier job, but it was just because I rode with my father. But it wouldn't be something I aspired when I went to college. What did I go to college for? Law. Right? I didn't go to school to become an electrician, right? I went to school to get a desk job. I'm just saying.
All right, I want to back up a little bit now. We've talked about September 10th, but let me get a little bit of context here. So, did you game with Tyler?
Yeah.
What kind of games?
D&D?
We played some just kind of party games together, like anything that would be multiplayer with a group of friends.
Oh, but just not your friends, his friends, right? I just want to make sure we got this because, you know, we haven't heard about any of Lance's friends. We've only heard about Tyler's friends, but it seems like Tyler communicates with the same friends that Lance communicates with, but they just seem to be Tyler's friends, not Lance's friends. I just want to make sure. If you guys haven't followed that, I just wanted to make sure you guys understood the dynamic.
There was one game he really liked called Sea of Thieves where you play as like a pirate, and you can fight against people, but most of it's just like fishing, fighting sharks, skeletons kind of stuff. We played some co-op games where it's
let me ask you, did the skeletons, did they kind of feel a little funny while you were fighting with the skeletons? Did it bring it a little closer to home? I'm just asking.
Like you both have to work together to win in whatever way.
Isn't it a shame? Like, you look at a good-looking man and you're like, you almost certainly know that a polished, good-looking man is absolutely gay. It is the most hopeless helpless feeling for a single woman in the world, because you look at him and you're like, oh, he is way too put together to be heterosexual. I mean, that's, yeah. All cute men are gay. I'm telling you. It's a shame. I'm a woman in heavy equipment operator. I love my job, but I'm strictly dickly. There are a few. Like I said, there are a few. I'm not anti. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene had a construction company. I'm not anti, women in construction. Again, I had a drywall company, okay? So it's like we understand that there are women that do manly jobs. I'm just saying that, usually a man converting to a woman wants a woman job, not a man job. That's just, it's my brain telling me that. Maybe it's stereotypical, maybe I just have it. Maybe I'm just stereotyping. I'm just, and I own it if I am, but I'm just saying, I don't mind. I mean, I'll get out there. There ain't nobody's going to dig a trench better than me by hand. I mean, we got equipment nowadays, but back in my days, we couldn't afford the equipment. I was the equipment. Now I'm antique equipment. Now I'm antique. Oh, good gracious.
Way back when I was just out of high school, when I
way back when he was just out of high school,
we played some shooting games together. But I didn't know him very well, so that was just when we had a whole friend group on to play, and he was someone that my friends invited.
Okay. Did you and he ever talk about politics?
He did more than me.
I thought everybody said that Lance was the big time, I hate government, I want to fight the man. That's what I heard all the way. Now, granted, we didn't know these people, and it could be rumor. We didn't have anything to support it, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that came out at the very beginning that just doesn't seem like it's boding here, and it seems like this guy is distancing himself. I've heard a lot of distance, what I classify or categorize as distancing relationship. Hey, grab a shovel. Let's go. There you go. Grab a shovel and let's go. All right. Now you think is this, instead of us having a chili cook-off, we're gonna have a trench digging contest. Oh, that would make all the workers in the world happy, wouldn't it? It's like, yeah, we pitch the food. Listen to this. I have a friend. He owns an Italian restaurant in Ohio. And he's right on the outskirts of Ohio, outskirts of Cleveland. But anyways, he just bought an Italian restaurant, and he's been involved in politics and, in his community. We all are. Anybody that I hang out with in that aspect, in a friendly aspect, we're mostly entertainers and political activists. That's kind of my sphere of influence, so to speak. So long story short, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but he was live streaming him as part of this hot dog contest. And, he says, I got 5. He ate 5 hot dogs. And I'm like, that's a lunch. Like, I started laughing when I read that. My best friend's looking at me yesterday because she's like, what the hell are you laughing at, lady? And I'm like, my friend is he decided to do a hot dog eating contest. And she's like, yeah, how did he do? I said, he ate 5. And she's just got a blank look on his face. I said 5. I said, we're used to hearing about people eating 20, 30, 40, 80, 110 hot dogs. He got 5. 5. I think he just wanted to go. I think he just wanted a free lunch. I'm just saying. He had a whole tray of hot dogs. He ate 5.
Yeah. I don't really keep up with politics very much.
But it's not what I heard.
He'd usually talk about stuff he heard on the radio on his drive to work in their work car, since it sounds like their whole crew went in the same car most of the time. But I wouldn't say super consistently, because it wasn't a topic I really contributed much on.
What about Charlie Kirk? Did you ever talk about Charlie Kirk?
I personally had never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk before specifically.
Who believes that? I would do it for free lunch. Yeah, me too. It's like a hot dog eating contest. How much money do I have in my lunch? Oh, wow, somebody stole my lunch money. I want to be part of the hot dog eating contest. Thank you. Thank you. Do you guys believe that this guy, his lover, he lived with him in a house? They were roommates, lovers, went to school, worked, came home together, ate together, partied together, played games together, and you're telling me that this boyfriend wanted to assassinate Charlie Kirk, but never, ever, ever talked to him, to his closest, bestest friend and lover, Lance Twigs. That's what you're going to, Twigs. That's what you're going to convince me of? Yeah, Ruby, I'm there with you. I say horse manure as well.
Okay.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Political issues. So did you ever talk about gender identity issues and LGBTQ rights?
No, not really. Usually if he did talk about politics stuff, it was relating to Trump or current, policies being...
Well, it's kind of funny because didn't his parents even state that he had gotten a lot more radicalized in his loathing and hate for Donald Trump, even bringing up all of this crap at the dinner table one night? Didn't we hear that early on in this case too?
They
might have an impeached witness.
Voted on, I think.
I don't think he's being truthful. He's lying about something. He's lying about something else. They're going to impeach this witness. Unless they need him. But I have a funny feeling that even the defense might have to impeach him.
Okay, so before that you have been?
For a short time, yes.
Okay. And I understand you're going by Luna at some point?
To some people, yeah, but not as an overall thing.
So he only wanted certain people to know that he had this alternative lifestyle. So he's very much, Lance Twigs was very much in the closet with his lifestyle. At least it seems like at work or other things. I don't even think he's working at the same company you work for. I think he probably moved out because this is a stigma, and he was living a double life. He was living this life of a man to all of these people out there in the real world, and then coming home and transitioning into, a woman, so to speak, or wanting to be a woman named Luna. This is, to me, this is mental health issues with both of them. And I think that they trauma bonded over their mental health issues, in all fairness. And it does happen. Have any more left of this? Yeah, we got a little bit. We got about another minute and a half left of this.
Okay. Okay.
Good morning, little orange man. Hello, guys.
I think that's all the questions I have for this portion. Let me check and see if I've missed anything. The Dremel that you talked about, you said he had asked for that, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And had he told you it was to inscribe bullets?
Yeah.
And so did you have a Dremel then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in our, our apartment, we had a section where we kept all our, random tools for household stuff in our, lower basement level pantry. So, yeah.
Okay. And did you give that to him or tell him where it was?
I just told him where it was, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording for the 11:02 purposes.
Okay, guys, that's it. That's Lance. I believe part of his testimony, But there's a good portion when it surrounds this case related to Charlie Kirk. I heard things that hey, I Spy, that was distant language. And I don't, you guys know me, I don't like distant language. I don't like delayed calling with missing children. There's just certain things, certain critical factors that I look for in every single case, and that's one of them, is distancing language. And we got our hands full of distancing language in multiple aspects of this review, at least from what I would deem, distancing language. He really wanted to, they were together, so they've been living together as boyfriends, yet they live in separate rooms. Tyler has his own, which I'm sure the separate rooms were, if there were boyfriends, I'm pretty sure they would have slept with each other most nights instead of separate rooms. That's what I would just assume. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, people that are, gay or whatever live different. Maybe they live in their own separate rooms. I don't know. I'm a heterosexual female, white female at that. I mean, I don't know these things, right? A lot of people try to remind me. I don't have, I don't have experience in this area, or I don't have experience in that area because I'm a heterosexual white female, right? So, I try to understand, but I am limited by my own abilities, right? I don't live that lifestyle, so I don't know how they live. You would assume that everybody just kind of lives the same, right? We all want safe houses, safe places, good jobs, be able to have an American dream. I would assume that would be the same from person to person, because it seems to me that that's a human need, not just a heterosexual need, right? But at the end of the day, I just don't believe him, because I believe they were a lot closer than he's alleging here. And I don't see how somebody could have this much hate in their heart to pick up a gun and go assassinate an innocent person that they've never even met, never even held a conversation with, but hate so much that they're ready to put a bullet in them. And you're trying to tell me that much hate, they never discussed it? There's a piece of me that doesn't believe it, because we've all been in relationships with significant others. We've all been in relationships, whether you're gay or whether you're heterosexual, it doesn't matter. We've all been in relationships, have we not? And every single relationship we've been in, we've had communication with our significant other, have we not? So when there's a major problem, a major significant problem in our lives, who do we go to other than our significant other and family to discuss those things? And you're telling me he has things to say at the dinner table at his own family's home, but not at the dinner table when him and Lance are eating? Again, I find it unbelievable. Unbelievable. Lance is living with his mom and dad in Texas. And quite frankly, he should be, I shouldn't say he should be in jail, because I don't have any evidence that says this man is participated in any way. But I don't believe that he saw no signs of anger and animosity in his lover. Okay? If I'm going to go out there and commit homicide, I can guarantee there's going to be people around me that knows that I loathe the person that I just committed homicide upon. I mean, I'm like, who could I use it? Let's take JLR, for example, okay? If JLR, kind of got, people would be looking at like, oh, you better go talk to Betty. You better go talk to Betty. You better go talk, like, right? If anything happened to JLR, who do you think the first person's going to get a knock at their door? Let me just ask the audience. Do you guys know who would get the knock at the door if, God forbid, something happened to poor little Jonathan, JLR? Who would get the knock at the door? Why? Because you guys have heard me freaking ragging on shit for freaking years. Is that when started to cry? Apparently, American Dream. Apparently. So, I don't know. I'm just using an example. Oh, well, I guess I didn't need to use JLR. I could use, burnt toast. Angel brings up another good name. There you go. Who would be? Actually, I think JLR would be accused of that one before Bullhorn Betty. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You can be gay, but why label yourself? Why? You know what? I don't think gay people do. I've been friends with a lot of female gay people, like lesbians, as well as men that are gay, and the majority, they live their life like we do. They don't want a whole lot of attention. They're not out there in the streets with the flag waving, Captain Kidd. There you go. There's another good name. There's another good name popping up. There's another one. But, something happened to several of these people on these streets. I think I have a knock at my door. You guys know it, okay? And you guys aren't even my lovers. I'm just saying. You guys are just people, some random people I just talked to on the street. I'm just saying. You guys don't even have the know, and you guys already know. It's like something happens to XYZ, call Betty. Call Betty. Go knock on Betty's door. Question her first. Anyways, all satire set aside, Lance, I just don't believe it. We've heard it ourselves. We all have been in relationships. I'm pretty sure we may have somebody that's in our chat right now that might be gay or homosexual or LGBTQ plus whatever. And that's fine. But you've got to admit that in your relationships, you guys communicate. And for him to say, I didn't know this and I didn't know that, and he has his friends, I have my friends, and we're just kind of lovers, and it's like, it doesn't work that way. When you're involved with something and you become an item, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or boy and boy, or girl and girl item, you kind of start living together, and they were. So now you're going to tell me you weren't incorporating any of your friendships together? You weren't? Does that just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense to me. It really just doesn't. It doesn't make any darn sense to me. So anyways, I'm not mean. I'm not being mean. You do you. I didn't think you were being mean. You always think I'm being mean to you, but I don't think you're being mean. You ain't being mean. And besides, I don't hold of that. Did he press? He did a press conference Friday. Looked a little pale. They claimed heart attack. Huh. Yeah, I figured something major happened. He probably. Anyways, I don't know what to think of Lindsey Graham. Again, I didn't agree with all of Lindsey Graham's decisions. There were obviously, he voted in some things that I'm glad he voted for, but he wasn't my cup of tea. He wasn't my cup of tea. But there's not a lot of people that are my cup of tea. It doesn't mean I wish them harm, I wish them death, or wish them anything. I don't. And you know what? I was kind of felt really bad yesterday because I'm like, if this person was on fire, I wouldn't even piss on them to put them out. And I said, that's just horrible for me to say that. And somebody told me, they said that that nobody is beyond forgiveness. Nobody is beyond forgiveness. It's just some of those forgivenesses can't come from us. And that kind of, you were talking about me. Okay, thank you. I'm like, oh, you're not mean to me. You're not mean to me. And that took a life of itself. I think I needed to hear that yesterday because I do beat myself up because, I am a Christian lady, but I'm one of these, I don't know how to explain it. I'm Old Testament. I believe in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I'm very, very barbaric when it comes to our law enforcement. Like, I think people need to leave people alone or suffer greatly because of it, right? If we could go back to the days when people stole, they got their hands lopped off, I'd love to go back to those days. Life was a lot easier and there was a lot less crime when there was more barbarianism in our criminal justice system. Now we've gotten to, these people can be barbarics, but we need to treat them like kitty cats. I'm done with that bullcrap. If you can't survive this life, then it's time for you to get on to the next part of your life. Okay? That's just where I'm at. And some people really just don't like that aspect about me. And sometimes I've got to remember, it's not my job to forgive these people. There are people that I have to forgive in my life so I don't suffer, that I've got to let go of. But I'm not God. It is not my job to forgive these people or to force them to ask for forgiveness, right? There's a lot of people out there that want forgiveness for what they've done without even asking for it or even apologizing for what they do. And so yesterday I was told that it's basically, everybody should be offered forgiveness, and everybody, but that doesn't mean that they're forgiven on a human level. And that's kind of something, because I do beat myself up because of the way I think, and maybe it's not as Christian as I'd like to believe, but I'm a human being, and I don't sit on my platform and express myself to be this perfect human being. I'm an imperfect human being that needs God every day, and I fight with God too. I fall on my faith. I falled on my faith for the last year and a half. I've been very, very angry with the decisions that God has made. And, what does God require from me? Honesty. And that is what I do give him. I give him honesty. When I'm angry, he knows I'm angry. When I'm happy, he knows I'm happy. When I'm thankful, he knows I'm thankful. But I'm not going to lie to him. And I think a lot of people lie to God, even in their prayers on our every day. I refuse to do that. I like honesty above everything else. And I have to remember that God is more powerful than me. And there are just some things that I'm not equipped to make decisions over, that those are the decisions of him. And I just have to keep trying to be the best person I can be every day, whether I fall short of that grace or not. And I can't beat myself up because God forgives me. I'm honest. I try to live by the word. I do not always live perfectly, but my intent is always good. And I think a lot of people in our chat, our intent is always good. And our intent is for the betterment, not the destruction. And I think those things matter. We're not going to always be perfect, but what is our intent? Is it for destruction or is it for good? If it's for good, then we're always going to be on the right side. Keep working through it, keep praying, and as time goes on, that faith starts rebuilding. But sometimes I feel like everybody's, that says, I've never questioned faith before. I've always known. I think that in fairness is not necessarily true either. And that's where it comes, where I prefer honesty more than I prefer being labeled as Christian. I think honesty is the most important part, because if you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with a higher being or other people, and I think it starts there. So anyways, that's my philosophy today on a Sunday. Go get your dose of Jesus today. Y'all have a great day. We'll be back. We might be back at 9. We might be back at 6. I went through the 9 o'clock. We ended up increasing or moving the show up about a couple hours yesterday because I was back. I was tired and I didn't want to wait up until 9 o'clock at night, if you want the truth of the matter. So tonight we might be pushing things a little earlier, or we might keep our 9 o'clock show time established. We'll see. But stay right here. If you've never been to this channel before, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. The subscribe button is a very important button as well, because you're never going to be notified of our content unless you hit the subscribe button and turn that bell to all. If you love this channel and you want to do more, there's absolute ways to do more. The most important thing every single one of our audience members can do that is free of charge is hitting that thumbs up button, right? If you see something in our live that you are in a chat room or something like that, clip the section you want, or throw the whole live in there and explain what you loved about the live and help promote this channel. If you'd like to do more, or you're just not really into social media and passing all this stuff around and you want to help still, there's the monthly membership. That is the best way you can help this channel grow, is that monthly partnership that you guys do. It allows us to look at our cases. It allows us to go out to places a lot quicker. Where we have it now is when a case is breaking, we have to kind of wait for the money to come in to go out. With that monthly membership, we would be able to plan those things a little bit further out than we do right now. So anything that you guys would love to do, we appreciate you. And don't forget that if you are a member, you get these beautiful milestones every single day. So thank you for becoming the newest member of our crazy family we call the Coffee Club. I eat insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard.
I'm a tastemaker. When I talk, people listen. Okay, everyone, great job. Back in the kitchen.
I'll see you in hell!
Just saying. All right, guys, you have a great day. We'll be back later this afternoon to kind of pick up on a case. Are we going to be talking about Lynette Hooker? Are we going to go down Nancy Guthrie's case? You know, to be honest with you, I think that it's time for us to start looking. We've got so many cases going on, so many interesting cases that defy logic, that really have stories to be told. Brooke Hanlon, she needs her husband arrested. She needs him behind bars. Obviously, the courts think he's responsible. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given the baby to her family. And that's the reality of it. So we know that all eyes are on her husband. It's just a matter of time before he's going to be dealing with a trial, just like Brian Hooker. We're waiting right now with bated breath on when he is going to be arrested. As soon as he's arrested, I believe he's going to be arrested in Michigan. I believe he is in Michigan. Nobody has seen hide nor hair of this man. Somebody's protecting this man. He doesn't have the ability to have his own place unless he's robbing his wife's retirement account blind. So we'll find out here shortly, but it sounds like Brian Hooker is TikTok, baby, TikTok. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for spending your morning with me. God bless each and every one of you, and have a great day. We'll see you soon.